to our NCAA football win total series. We are still in the AAC, and we are on to East Carolina. East Carolina had a great run of success starting back in 2006. Skip Holtz was the head coach there. His last 4 years as the head coach, made a bowl game. Ruffin McNeill comes in, makes 4 bowl games in 5 years. So it's a total of 8 bowl games in 9 years. 2015, Ruffin McNeill goes 5-7. He's out. Scotty Montgomery takes over, and things just don't go well. 3 straight 3 in 9 years. Mike Houston comes in, 4-8, 3-6, 7-5, and then finally in 2022 it was 8-5 and a Birmingham Bowl win. Then there's last year in 2023, Mike Houston's 5th season. They open up at Michigan, they lose. Then they lose to Marshall and at App State before getting their first win of the season against Gardner Webb. Then they lose at Rice, SMU, Charlotte, at UTSA, and against Tulane. And finally, November 11th, they get another win at Florida Atlantic, but then they drop their last 2 at Navy and Tulsa. And we're not talking super close games. Rice was a 7-point game. Charlotte was 3. Tulane was 3. Navy was 10. Tulsa was 2. But there's also, 30-point losses in there. But there's definitely stuff to grow on from their 2-10 season last year. We look at what's coming in for East Carolina. The offense was awful last year. It's one of the worst offenses they've had since the 80s. Quarterback's going to be a big change this year. Jake Garcia comes in from Missouri. Cutton Hauser comes in from Michigan State. So that will definitely be a lot more productive there. At wide receiver, Chase Sowell's back. He had 622 yards and a touchdown last year. Jahari Patterson's back. They bring in Anthony Smith from NC State. Winston Wright from Florida State. The receiving core should be all right. The running game is Rajai Harris and Javavius Bond. They had 716 yards and 6 scores last year. Hopefully they get some more carries this year. 3 starters back on the offensive line. 2 new starters are in from the transfer portal. On defense, the defense was pretty good, especially for East Carolina standards. They normally are an awful defense. Chad Stevens is great. He's getting behind the line. He's back. Donta Johnson's back at the nose. And then they bring in Raheem Craig from Louisville to boost the edge rusher. Damian Wilson comes in. He's going to be a linebacker for them. And Mike Edwards is back on the outside. The secondary just didn't have enough turnovers. Only 6 interceptions last year. Shavon Revel is back. He's probably one of the better corners in the AAC. Andrew Wilson-Lamp will be on the other side, and then former Maryland player Gavin Gibson should be at free safety. They've got to create more turnovers, though. They just didn't do that. Teams are going to shy away from Shavon Revel, so that's up to Andrew Wilson-Lamp, up to Gavin Gibson, up to the linebackers. They've got to get interceptions. When we look at the schedule, it's not an awful schedule. They open up against Norfolk August 31st. That'll be a win. Then things get tough. They're at Old Dominion, against App State, at Liberty, against UTSA to end September. They're probably going to be 1-4 coming out of September. October 5th, they're at Charlotte. They'll get a win. Then they have a bye. At Army, October 19th, I think that's a win. And then they play Temple on October 26th. That should be a win. They have a bye on November 2nd before they get Florida Atlantic at home. Being at home, I think that's a win. Then they're at Tulsa, at North Texas, and Navy to end the year. I really only see one win in that group, probably Navy. I don't think they beat Tulsa or North Texas on the road. When we look at this, though, that's a 6-win team. It's a 6-6 team. The over-under, though, is set at 6.5. And I think asking a team that was 2 wins last year to jump to 7 is a huge jump. I have this in the 5-6 range. I think 7 is definitely a little bit outside. So we're going to take the under 6.5, having them go in 6-6. Caesars has it at -130, and that will be our pick. If you like this comment, make sure to drop this content. Make sure to drop a comment on this video. Definitely hit the like and subscribe button, and we will see you next time.